Let's build a Silent Hill nurse. That is right, ladies and gentlemen, AJ Good here at the House of Masks, where we unbox and review cool shit almost every single day. And in today's video, we have a life-size build. Yes, we are building a life-size Silent Hill nurse. This isn't going to be based directly off of any game in particular, or the movies, just kind of a mashup of what I like out of the nurses. Consider it a custom build. Now, Silent Hill is really important to me. I absolutely love Silent Hill. I think it's probably one of the most important things to ever happen to horror in general, but more specifically, horror gaming. Now, in my opinion, there isn't another strictly horror video game franchise that can even come close to Silent Hill, especially not Resident Evil, because I don't see those as horror games. At very best, they are action-adventure sci-fi games with some horror elements, but they're not horror like Silent Hill. And clearly, any fan of Silent Hill is going to tell you that Silent Hill 2 is right up there among the best, if not the best installment in the series, and that is where we get to see so many cool character designs such as the nurse and Pyramid Head. So here at the building, clearly I wanted a Silent Hill nurse. I've already had a dark nurse display in my home before, but that was many moons ago, and it was just kind of outdated and never really what I wanted, so I figured I would start from scratch. Now that I have the space, build a new one and eventually have a Pyramid Head figure to go with it. And I think that it's going to look fantastic with this rusty metal background that kind of separates the living room from the mask room. So we're gonna put one on each side, and yeah, today we're just going to be building the nurse. Now there is a lot of steps that need completed. I pretty much have to start from scratch here. That means assembling and painting the mannequin, doing some custom modifications to the nurse dress that we have along with the shoes, some work on the mask, and then just a full general rework of the entire thing. I want to do all of the weathering and get it exactly the way that I want it. So it is going to take me a couple days. Obviously you guys will see everything in one video, but we're going to get started right now. We'll start assembling this mannequin, then we'll get it painted, and we'll go from there. So as you've probably already picked up on, we have a pure white mannequin here, and clearly those Silent Hill nurses are not pure white. This thing needs to have some skin tones before all of the blood and the rust and the nasty decrepit stuff is done. So we are going to go ahead and hit this thing with a nice Caucasian base of spray paint. We're just going to go ahead and spray the whole thing down. It may take a few coats, but that's totally fine. And you're probably wondering why I bought an all-white mannequin. And the answer is pretty simple, although it is aggravating, and I'm not sure why this is the case, but it's really hard to find the color mannequin that you want with the pose that you want for the price that you want. It's like there's no in between. You know those Venn diagram memes where the Venn diagrams never quite touch? That is the case with these mannequins. So I really liked this pose. Clearly I can give her some sort of scalpel or a syringe or something like that, and it kind of fits like the weird movements that they make in the video games and in the movies, and I just couldn't find that in color. I couldn't find it with a skin tone mannequin. And if I could, I'm sure that it would be outrageous, because some of these mannequins are super stupid expensive. I really don't know why, because they are really all the same quality. I've gotten dozens of life-size mannequins over the years, and they're always the same quality. Even like the $400 one that I bought for the Curator mannequin, where it's fully opposable, was just garbage. They're all terrible, so we're working with what we can. I am going to go ahead and paint this one. It was definitely a cheap mannequin, which is good, and all that it's going to add to this project is a little bit of time. So we're gonna go ahead and spray it down, see how much paint it takes to cover it, let it dry overnight, and then we can come back to work on it tomorrow. All Alright guys, this bitch is as good as dry. We're gonna go ahead and take her back into the building, kind of set her to the side for a second and focus on some other projects in this build, namely the costume. We're gonna go ahead and get that weathered. I think there is going to be just a little bit of work that goes into that, so we'll worry about the actual dress and the shoes, then we will get that on her, and we'll start worrying about her finish, then attach the mask, so on and so forth, and we'll have a completed Silent Hill nurse. You ready, baby? All right, another part of the outfit, shoes. We've got a pair of $5 slip-ons here from Walmart. Not sure why I did this, as if that's not actually what they're called or something. But anyways, they didn't have any white ones. I really wanted some white ones. They only had these and like a tan one, so I figured if I'm going to paint them, having them be darker underneath would be the best as far as like making them look decrepit and old and used and worn out. So we are going to use our best friend spray paint here to spray paint these white and then weather them accordingly. It's cool because aside from the main pieces like the mannequin or the mask, you're really not spending more than a few bucks on each little piece that goes with this, so it's kind of a budget build if we're being honest. We'll let those dry and come back a little bit later. All right, so as we bring the dress in here to this little utility sink, I start putting paint thinner on this logo to see if it removes it. It does actually remove it, so I start to scrub that off with a toothbrush and some more paint thinner. And it doesn't really matter that I'm like staining the dress up or ruining the dress, because the dress is going to be about as gross as it can possibly be. And that's totally fine with me. You guys will see what I mean here in just a second. I have a few different techniques that I apply to this dress that are all really simple, really easy. I think anybody would be able to do these once we get this logo off of here. So we'll skip ahead just a second. And now that the logo is gone, we can start applying some of these weathering techniques. The first thing that I do with these Silent Hill nurse dresses is I add coffee grounds. I just put a little bit of water in the sink and then I apply coffee grounds literally all over the entire dress in bulk. I let that soak in. It gives it a really weird, really rustic, dirty, disgusting look. You can kind of slosh it around. You can come back and add more. You can rinse it off. You can take them away. And yeah, I just really, really like the look of this. I definitely think that it fits the underworld, evil, dark, rusty look that Silent Hill accomplishes in a lot of the video games and the movies. So we're going to let that sit for a bit. We will come back and I will show you what the dress looks like on the nurse. And I'm hoping that it turns out well, because this dress is actually a little more see-through than I imagined it being. So hopefully that's not too much of a problem, but we will find out. Alright, I'm pretty happy with how this is turning out so far. The dress is far less see-through than I thought that it was going to be. That's not really causing an issue, and I think once we further weather it, and we weather the mannequin accordingly, it's going to turn out just the way that I imagined it. I really, really liked this dress. It was about a $40 dress, but I really liked the style, and I figured that the fit was going to fit this mannequin really well. It is supposed to be extremely tight-fitting clothes, and everything up here fits really well, and once I do some modifying to the back, this is going to fit a little more skin tight, so I think that it's really coming together. I know that there are a lot of people out here that jerk off to these nurses. I personally think that's pretty weird. The whole sexual part about it makes me really uncomfortable, but it is what it is. Most of the themes and the monsters from James' imagination in Silent Hill 2 were sexual. If you guys look into that story at all, you'll see all of those things being metaphors. Everything from the nurses to Pyramid Head to the little monsters in between. But I personally just find this to be a really scary variant of a nurse. I think that it's a really cool concept. My point is, I'm not going to focus too hard on the sex stuff like a lot of these weirdo cosplayers do. I just want a really cool nurse display from my favorite Silent Hill video game, and that's that. So I guess the next thing is to continue weathering the outfit and start weathering the nurse herself. So I'm going to start weathering this dress by hand. I'm going to be using everything from weathering powder to permablood to food coloring to the fake corny cheesy blood that you would buy at Walmart. Lots of different techniques, lots of different textures are going to go into this. I think it's going to look absolutely fantastic when we're done. Very grody, very authentic. And I'm also going to be painting the nails black on this. I don't know why. I tattooed one of these one time and I decided to paint the nails black on that tattoo, and I just thought that it looked really cool, so I'm painting the nails black. Deal with it. Alright guys, so this is the end of the build. I may do an update video on this in the future because I'm not entirely happy with the finished product, and I'll tell you why. First of all, this Trick or Treat Studios mask is just big. I mentioned that at the beginning of the video, and no matter what I tried to do to resize it, it still just looks really big on there in some instances. At some angles or quick glances, it looks completely normal, but at other times it just looks massive, and I'm really not happy with that. So I'm going to be scouring the internet for a smaller version of the nurse mask and just seeing what I can do from there. The second reason is I ordered a scalpel for this thing that just never showed up. I've gone to local places trying to find them, the little Trick or Treat Studios H2 scalpels, but I can't find them anywhere local. And the one that I ordered is just taking way too long to show up. And the third reason is I believe that I'll probably always be making tweaks to this thing's finish. I think that I'll always find something that I can be like, yeah, I think that I can make that just a little bit better. But for now, this is the end of the build, and I am happy with the finished product. I think that it looks good. I definitely think that it gets the point across, and I haven't seen one that's on the level of this yet in anyone else's collection, so I'm definitely happy with it, but I could always be happier, and I think that that's just the mindset of an artist. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed this build. Thank you guys very, very much for watching. I hope that you've enjoyed the Silent Hill content. I'm going to try to keep that coming, along with a few other horror video game related videos here and there. I do really enjoy horror video games, and I'm very selective about the ones that I like, and the ones that I like I really, really like, so I think that we can integrate those into the channel with doing stuff with Silent Hill, The Last of Us, Siren, Fatal Frames, stuff like that. So yeah, I'm gonna stop rambling now. I think this video's gone on long enough. That will be that. Thank you guys again for watching, and until next time, this has been AJ Good at the House of Masks telling you to say no to drugs and alcohol, and we'll see you guys later.
You need to put a mask on. I hate AJ girls don't wanna ask for. It's me fucking popping wheelies, driving like the NASCAR. Mask on. You might see him off in traffic, he be moving around. I hate AJ good, tagged it all around the town. I hate AJ good. You might see him off in traffic, he be moving around.